we're doing our college football postmortems.
Yeah.
And going team by team. And, I mean, let's be real. As we start off, college football in the state of Texas stunk this year. With the exception of basically Mary Hardin Baylor.
And Houston had a good season.
Houston had a good year.
It wasn't what they wanted to be, but Houston had a great season.
Houston had a good season. I feel like that's an important point. Houston had a good season. And I feel like we lump it in as like, oh, it's just a bunch of crap. You know what I mean? I don't think that it was a bunch of crap.
I also, and I make this point more than you do because we have different perspectives. I still think A&M had a great season. I just think expectations have A&M
had
so warped there.
Good season. I wouldn't say that a great season. In any case, we're not talking about either of those, Max.
Fine.
I know it's your birthday show, but we can't just do anything you want willy-nilly. We got to have a rundown. All right?
No, it's always about what you want to do.
You think we're just scrapping this rundown?
Your television's Greg Tepper.
Okay, so today we're talking about the Texas State Bobcats. The Texas State Bobcats, first year under Coach Everett Withers. He comes in. He comes in and decides, all right, we're going to make changes. We're going to be different. Hashtag party in the end zone, right? We want to have hashtag party in the end zone. It wasn't so much a party in the end zone.
It started as a party.
It started as a party in the end zone.
That win against Ohio?
We asked the same 4 questions about every team we do these postmortems for. And the first one is, what went right?
Ohio!
Like, they couldn't have had a better start, right?
Yeah.
Like, Ohio ended up being... So Texas State beats Ohio on the road in overtime, and Everett Withers' first game as Texas State head coach.
And you're thinking,
this
is awesome.
Is this team
this is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, is this team like really good? Like,
yeah.
Did we totally underestimate, or as a former president once said, misunderestimate Texas State? Maybe we did. And Ohio ended up being really good. So it's like, okay, they did that. I will warn you that eventually things did not keep going that way.
Right.
But let's focus on the positives. What did they do well? Well,
you tell us, numbers guy. Here we go.
Boy, I'm really struggling, guys. I want to come up with something, okay? I don't really know. They didn't really do much of anything well. Like, if you're looking for something they ranked okay with, like, they were a decent kicking team. Yep. Okay? Their punting was okay, and their kicking was okay. That's basically about it. In fact, I remember praising their punter. Oh man, I want to make sure I get his name right because he was probably, honestly, their best player. Lumi Kaba. Okay, Lumi Kaba, who is out of Tyler. Okay. He was probably. We might get to this, and this is a little sad, but he might be their team MVP.
Oh,
okay.
Boy.
He actually had a pretty good year as you look at, let's see, Lumi Kaba. Yeah, 46th in the nation in punt, yards per punt. He did a lot of punting because his team just wasn't very good.
Yep.
They also, I mean, if it's a skill, they also drew a lot of penalties, which is weird. Like they were, yeah, I know, right? They were 6th. This is 100% true. They were 6th in the nation in opponent penalties per game. That's 100% true. They've come out, so if drawing penalties is a skill, then they're pretty good at it.
That's
okay. I know, Max. We're grasping at straws here, but
I would counter that is actually a negative because that means you're playing a bunch of undisciplined teams that you still couldn't beat.
Okay, Max. Yeah, I know it wasn't good. All right, nobody's trying to see here. Nobody's trying to cape for Texas State football 2016. All right. So let's get to what went wrong. And what went wrong was kind of everything, all right? So we mentioned it when we did the Texas Tech postmortem.
Yes.
There are 128 FBS teams in the nation. 128, so that's the bottom,
That's
right?
pretty bad.
Texas State was 126th in points per game.
How?
I know, Max. I know!
Again, I want to make something explicitly clear here.
Right.
I'm not trying to rag on Texas State.
Right.
I am simply befuddled that we find this many Texas teams at the bottom of the national FBS rankings.
So it gets better. And by better,
what do you mean?
By better, I mean worse.
Worse, yeah, exactly. That's what I thought.
Because they were 126th in the nation at 15.9 points per game. They were 127th in the nation in points allowed per game.
This is Texas.
43.3 points per game. They beat a bowl team, by the way. Remember this. They beat a bowl team. Okay? And they just didn't do anything well. They did not. I mean, if you're looking for, I will say this. We spent the entire year talking about Tyler Jones, their quarterback. And I think we probably asked too much of him. And he did not listen.
I am a Tyler Jones apologist.
That is not to give him a pass, because seriously, he was not good. He was not good.
But that offensive line.
The offensive line was objectively terrible.
Terrible.
Okay.
They had no running game.
They gave the 119th in sack percentage, and dead last in yards per carry.
Yeah.
Dead last.
Yeah.
2.3 yards per carry, worst in the nation. Okay, and so then all the pressure goes on to Tyler Jones, the quarterback, to make plays.
Yeah.
And
it's too much.
And when they know that they can simply put 4 or 3 guys up front and stop your running game, you're not going to be able to pass.
Right.
But it all starts with the offensive line that I think was just objectively a failure this year.
Yeah.
That's not to give a pass to the defense.
Nope.
They were last in the nation in completion percentage allowed.
Good.
68%. Opponents completed 68% of their passes against them. 68. 68. Okay, hold on. I want to find somebody who completed 68. One guy who completed 68% of his passes. Let me tell you. It was like they were playing Greg Ward Jr. Every single week.
Yeah.
Every guy that they faced was as accurate and as on point as Greg Ward Jr., who is known for his accuracy.
Yes.
Who is the 5th most accurate quarterback in the nation.
Yeah.
Their defense was objectively terrible.
Yeah.
Okay? That's not up for debate. So, that was bad. I mean, I could go on and on. That's the thing. I don't want to rag on them because they were so bad defensively and offensively, but they were. I mean, you have a real, in my mind, like I don't know how they beat Ohio. That remains to me a great sports mystery.
It was a fun game though.
It was a great game, but I don't know how they beat Ohio.
I don't either.
And if you take away that game, then they go 1-11, and they're one win on the year.
Even I remember because I watched that game and I wrote about it. Statistically, they shouldn't have beat Ohio, right? Ohio gave them the opportunities despite winning most of the statistical battles in that game.
Like if you take away that crazy, weird 56-54 overtime win over Ohio, they have one win, and it's over Incarnate Word. Okay.
Yeah, now that we're going through this number by number.
They're the worst team in the state.
I was about to say, do you feel a little bad about how hard we've been on like UTEP and Rice relative to Texas State?
I do. Texas State, and I promise you, I want Texas State to succeed so badly.
I want them to get better.
But they were really, really, really bad. Now, is that Everett Withers' fault? I don't think so. No. I think he came in and the cupboard was pretty empty.
He came in late.
Yeah. And I feel like that he had to rebuild on the fly. Yeah. So give him a full year. You give him a pass for year one. But let's also admit what 2016 was, which was really, really, really bad.
Abject failure.
So now we have to pick an MVP of the team.
What's the mascot's name?
I'm gonna go with Brian London. Brian London, freshman linebacker, who I think was the breakout star out of Judson. Judson, or did he go to Wagner?
Boko the Bobcat is my choice.
Boko the Bobcat.
Boko.
Let me make sure I shout out Brian London here for a minute. But Brian London went to, I want to say Judson. Yeah, or no, Randolph. Universal City Randolph. Okay. He was a breakout star for them. Redshirt freshman, steps into the linebacker spot, leads them in tackles for loss. I mean, God forbid we think about where they would be without Brian London. I would say he was their MVP. Mm-hmm. Now, their defense wasn't very good, but their pass defense was way worse than their run defense, and so and the offense wasn't any good. So I would say that the MVP of the team was Brian London.
Boko the Bobcat.
Was Brian London, the linebacker. Stop trying to make Boko the Bobcat MVP happen. So, if you are a Texas State fan, and right now you're crying, like you're weeping, you're listening to this, and you're like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I know it's bad. Quit saying it was bad. I watched all of it. It was terrible.
What have we done? Okay. I want to give you hope, okay? Because they do bring back a considerable amount, and you've got a full cycle through Everett Withers. And when Everett Withers was hired,
What did we say?
What did we say? The
proven winner.
He's a winner.
Proven winner.
He's a guy who wins.
Yes.
And so, if you believe in Everett Withers, and to me, there is nothing that should sway you from believing
that season should not
in
change
Everett
anything
Withers.
about
No,
it
shouldn't. That's a punt.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yep.
You look at him and you go, all right, Everett, lead the way.
I absolutely expect them to be much better
For sure.
this year.
They will have a new quarterback. I think it's probably going to be Eddie Prince or Connor White. Honestly, you know who I'd give a look to? LG Williams.
Yeah.
Remember him from Cibolo Steel?
Yeah.
He was a star.
Yeah.
I'd give a look to him.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a new look. I mean, they will have Stedman Mayberry back, who I think was maybe the bright spot on an otherwise terrible rushing attack. Stedman Mayberry is a nice piece to work around. They're also bringing back Elijah King, Thurman Mobley. They're bringing back a lot of weapons. Mm-hmm. They do need a quarterback, and the defense, was pretty young this year. They will be better in 2017. In many respects, it's because they can't be worse.
In many respects, it's because the Sun Belt is one of the most volatile conferences in the country, and I could easily see them getting back up to the middle or even higher because of that volatility.
For sure. But, I mean, look, I think Texas State fans are really excited to move on from 2016.
We are too.
I'm very excited to move on from 2016, so that's what we're going to do.
So is Boca the Bobcat.
We're officially putting a bow on the 2016 Texas State season.